Welcome to a very special edition of Racing to Win. We preview Sha Tin on Sunday, where it is the Turf World Championships.
Fate is, in their own nations, they travelled from across the globe. Though they had conquered challenges on foreign shores, now they look towards another great prize and a chance to take on the world's best. Meanwhile, the Titans of Hong Kong lay in wait.
Golden 60, the internationals can't beat him.
Ready to defend their domain against all comers.
Romantic Warrior won the QE2. Panfield won it. Wellington for the Chairman's Sprint Prize.
Only a great battle would determine who could rightfully be named a Turf World Champion.
It happens this Sunday out at Sha Tin. It's supposed to be an ideal day. There'll be a big crowd in, and to preview it all, we joined in the studio here on the Racing to Win set by both Paul Lally and Tom Wood. And Tom, what a day.
It's going to be a fantastic day out at Sha Tin on Sunday, Mark. Thoroughly looking forward to seeing a Golden 60 to see if he can emulate a good Barber by winning a hat-trick of Group 1 mile races here in Hong Kong. So much to look forward to with the internationals. Great jockeys on show. Weather should be perfect.
We're going to have it all covered here, Paul, but we need a winner on the punt still, and there's some jackpots for us also.
Yeah, there is. There's a good jackpot in the triple trio, so 5.8 million going to that, so that should get over 10 million for a single winning $10 unit. So a good jackpot there. And the undercard's really good. There's a couple of first starters. One that's brings some pretty good form from overseas in Bonds of Perla, and another one called Nice to be Met, which hasn't raced yet. Yeah,
a lot of them have raced overseas too, the newcomers that aren't racing in the 4 Group 1s. Unfortunately, we have got a scratching to report, and that's Salios. He's come out of race number 7, was lame in a left leg, so he won't be running in race number 7. The meeting details, this is all you need to know for the 10 races. They're on the A course and, of course, all on the turf, being Turf World Championship Day. Early start, 12:25, race number 1. We're going to cover the 4 Group 1s here on Racing to Win, races 4, 5, 7 and 8. We kick off with the Vase. The first is over the 2,400 metres, and we've got Broome at the top of the book, one of a couple in the race for Aidan O'Brien. Bubble Gift from France. Cheek pieces are off for this, following his down the track run in a rain-affected arc at Longchamp last time. Glory Vase looking to make history by becoming a 3-time winner of the race. Mendocino for Germany. Botanic, the second of the French runners. William Buick booked to ride him. Senor Toba, Panfield, Butterfield. They represent Hong Kong. And then we've got the Japanese Win Marilyn and the 3-year-old right down the bottom, Stone Age for Ryan Moore. And Aidan O'Brien looking to do what Mogul did at the same age. Speed map time, Tom. It's not a big distance that we get to see here in Hong Kong, the 2,400 metres. There's only a smattering of races for the local horses. Thus, you'd imagine the focus is largely going to be on the visitors.
And the pace won't be strong here, although, Paul, that Stone Age can set up a good tempo in front, and he can certainly run along at a good speed to can Stone Age. Botanic to be right behind them. Broome, he's a horse that certainly can race handy also. And then the local brigade, you've got Senor Toba at the back. He'll want probably even further than this because he's a horse that will stay all day.
Yeah, exactly. And he's drawn 10, so look, I think they haven't got much choice rather to go back. They might have a look for the front. There's options there for Senor Toba, but I think more than likely to get back, and Bubble Gift likes to get back the French horse as well.
So that is the speed map for race number 4. Time to look at the previous winners, Paul, and it is a case of Glory Vase winning 2 of the last 3. In between it was Mogul, so it's the same connections with Stone Age and obviously Glory Vase back too.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're the 2 main hopes as well. I mean, Exultant was fantastic for Hong Kong. Well, I don't think we've got a horse like Exultant in this race.
No, it's clearly a race down through the years here in Hong Kong that has been dominated by those horses coming in from overseas.
One of the overseas runners is from Germany. It's a German representative for the first time in a little while in the Vase. Mendocino is his name, and this is his jockey, René Pichelak.
René Pichelak, many thanks for joining us. Great to see you here in Hong Kong. We're at the barrier draw, and you're due to ride Mendocino in the Vase. First off, you've got barrier 7. Are you happy with where you are?
I'm happy with the draw. I mean, it's just 10 runners, and draw number 7 is absolutely okay.
He's clearly a horse that stays well. Obviously, that famous win when beating your ARC winner, Torquemada Tasso, in the Gosser Prize von Baden-Baden. How has the horse settled in? What have reports been from your partner, Sarah?
yeah, he's okay. She's very happy with him. I saw him in the morning in the work, in the daily work, and he looks good. He looks brilliant. He moves very well. So yeah.
And he ran in the Arc last time, obviously. I know Connections were keen to go there after that Group 1 win. Was that just a case of, rule a line through that run? The ground was just not there to suit him?
No, it's absolutely too soft the ground. It was heavy ground and he don't like it. He was very tired after the race, so we gave him a long break. That's the reason why we didn't run in Munich. That was heavy ground, same like in Paris. And yeah, now we're here and we get good ground.
How much are you looking forward to the occasion? Obviously, as I mentioned, your partner Sarah trains the horse. She's very hands-on with him. I imagine you're both really looking forward to Sunday.
Yeah, sure. We have for Sunday. I think we can have a good chance to can be placed with him. He feels fine. That's what she said, and he works on Tuesday. He works very well. So. Yeah.
That is Renee Pitcherluck, the jockey of the German visitor Mendocino. We move on, Tom, to Bubble Gift. Now, Bubble Gift ran in that race at Longchamp in the Arc where the track was just very heavily rain affected. This is more the conditions he's going to get on Sunday. This is the Pre-Foy.
It was a good run, I thought, here in the Foy from him, and he was second here, only beaten just over a length. He went out favourite, but he's had some sound runs leading into this, apart from on that really testing track, Paul, there at Longchamp. But he's been a relatively consistent performer without striking at the elite level.
Yeah, exactly. Look, he's always in close finishes, isn't he? When he did win his last race, it was only a small margin as well. Look, he'll want pace in the race. I'm not sure if he'll get it.
This horse is no stranger to Hong Kong, Paul. This is the Vase from last year. Butterfield in the race, but Glory Vase is the focus. It's his last race. He's been very sparingly raced, only 2 starts since this win.
Yeah, and it'll be sort of a fairy tale for him if he can finish off with a win at the end of his career here. Glory Vase, look, he's obviously one of the main dangers. He loves it here at Sha Tin.
Yeah, he had a good turn of foot to produce on this day. I didn't mind his run in Dubai. He was there to strike, just came to the end of it over the final stages behind HKIR there in the Shima Classic. But in that race there, the Vase last year, the top 2, when he beat Pole Driver, they cleared out.
What about the form and the horses in this year's Vase? Do you think they're stronger than last year?
Well, this is the thing. It's always hard to get the different form lines matched up, isn't it? But I think the Oris have got some pretty strong chances.
He's dropped 15 pounds as well, and he's not an overly big horse anyway, so he's just over 1,000 pounds now as Glory Vase.
What about Botanic, Tom? He's the second of the French visitors. Wears the Godolphin colours, and William Buick across to ride.
Yeah, that's, I thought, interesting booking. We know that Andre Fabi knows how to produce a Vase winner. He's had 2 of them in the past. 2 back, he had the trail, and there was no pace in the race. That was behind Stay Foolish, and then 1 going away at the line. And last time out in the Dollar, the Group 2 race there, he was beaten a fair way, 21 lengths, but that again was on a very, very testing track. It's going to be complete opposite here.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I think he's definitely going to get his opportunity. I've included him.
Of the Hong Kong runners, Paul, there's 3 of them, Senor Tober in the fields, Butterfield and Pan. Here is Senor Tober and Panfield in this race. It's unlikely they're going to win on what we've seen from them. Who is the best of the locals?
Well, Panfield's a Group 1 winner here in Hong Kong, isn't he? So there's not much between him and Senor Tober in my mind. I would probably say that the way the race is going to be run would be Panfield.
He's dropped quite a bit in body weight leading into this as well, 21 pounds, so you can see him just whacking away behind them. Look, the run here from Senor Tober is good, but he just has no turn of foot whatsoever. He just plugs away. So, look, give him 2,400, 3,200, 4,000, he'd probably be competitive over those distances too.
Damien Lane, Tom, is having such a great association with the Japanese runners. Now, this is the QE2 Cup at Group 1 over 2,200 last time. Interesting, it was a yielding track and she's run second.
I think she's a big danger in this race because she has won up over further ground than 2,400 metres and produced a good effort last time out in the Queen Elizabeth here, dead heading for second, and did race wide throughout as well. So there was a fair bit I thought to like about this effort, Paul.
Yeah, and a lot of her wins have been on good tracks or good to firm. So the ground's not going to be a problem for him. She still ran well. I don't think she really was suited by that ground.
Aidan O'Brien, Paul, great record on the race, Highland Reel a couple of times and Mogul. No stranger to see Aidan's horses go to the Breeders' Cup and then come here to Hong Kong. Stone Age, yet to win a Group 1. There he is in the green colours. Broome, the other representative, starts can be a little hit and miss at times.
Yeah, exactly. But he's got a bit of pace, Broome. Look, I thought it was a good run here from Stone Age. He's obviously following the mogul footsteps. Is this horse? He's going to get to the front. I believe he's going to lead the race, and if he can sort of get some cheap sectionals early, I think he can win it.
He was no match for the winner there last time out, but the connections, they have a high opinion of this horse, Mark, and he's been racing really well, a path that they know, Breeders' Cup here into Hong Kong. It's worked with them successfully in the past.
It has. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, and it's good enough for you to put him on top, Paul.
Yeah, I'm going to put the Stone Age on top here. Look, his track work as well yesterday, on Thursday was very, very good as well. It was a Friday, I should say. Very good piece of track work on Friday for Stone Age. Glory Vase, he's in there as the Quinella horse. Obviously, he's going to be tough to beat as well. Win Maryland, the other Japanese, and for France, Botanic. 10, 3, 9 and 5.
Yeah, I was really tossing up between Stone Age and Glory Vase, but it was definitely the piece of track work on Friday that sold me on Stone Age. He looked really good in that. Got to the line strongly, the trio working together. Glory Vase is in, hard not to include, and Win Maryland's the big danger should one of those two not prevail. And Botanic coming into with us. He might be slightly over the odds, but look, his runs have been sound without winning one of the big ones yet. So 10, 3, 9 and 5.
Preview 1 of 4, that is the Vase are taken care of. We'll take a break here on Racing to Win. Back to look at the sprints right after this. You're watching the HKIR edition of Racing to Win. We've already previewed the Vase prior to the break. The sprint is up next, and it's over the 1,200 metres. Wellington at the top of the book. He had that lameness issue after running 6th in the Jockey Club sprint last time. Skyfield was last year's winner, looking to go back-to-back. Gendarme across from Japan. Lucky Swainess, the Jockey Club sprint winner, super wealthy. He's a Group 3 winner, but over the 1,000 metres. Naran Huleg comes here after running 3rd to Gendarme in the Sprinters Stakes. Stronger, Hugh Bowman takes the ride for Douglas White. Singapore, represented by Lims Kosciuszko. Cordyceps 6, stablemate of Wellington. The John Size pair, Courier Wonder and Sight Success. Mikhail Yell and Resistencia down the bottom of the race book. Resistencia placed in the race last year behind Skyfield. We had a good to slow pace in the first of our preview races, Tom. That is not going to be the case here.
No, they'll fly along here, especially with the Sight Success going to the front. Gendarme to come across from barrier 8 for Damien Lane. Lucky Swainess, Paul, we know he's never the quickest away. It sort of takes him 50, 100 metres to get into full flight, but if they want to, they can get up into a good position, I think.
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? He's drawn barrier number 3, so he can put himself in there. Lims Kosciuszko has got technical speed as well, the Singaporean horse. I think there's a place there for Wellington. I know he's drawn awkwardly in 10, but we know he's got quite good gate speed, so he can make his own luck, I think.
Ryan Moore booked to ride Wellington with, unfortunately, Alexi Bedell out during an injury, or with an injury, at least, was Alexi. They're the past winners, Tom, for the Sprint Skyfield in a race where it had that horrible fall last year. Down on Smash and Beat the Clock, also recent winners.
Yeah, so the only exception out of the Hong Kong runners there, of course, Down on Smash, winning there for Japan, but it is a race down through recent years that Hong Kong has certainly prevailed in very, very strongly.
Some barrier stats for you now for this race, Paul, and this is how they line up. Barrier number 1, just 1 win. Being drawn towards the centre hasn't been a bad thing in this race.
Yeah, sort of out of trouble. So if you're slowly away from an inside drawer, you can get into a bit of trouble. But barrier 6 is statistically the best barrier draw at the moment that we've seen in recent years. So we'll see how Sight Success can go from that draw.
The anomalies there: Wellington drawn barrier 10, Skyfield 11, and Cordyceps 6 drawn barrier 13. Those are the gates that haven't won. Some people read those as gospel, but sometimes people just take them as a grain of salt.
All right, well, there's a visitor here from Singapore this year. His name is Lims Kosciuszko. There's not much of him, and his jockey was with Nick Child, Danny Beasley.
Just on the horse, Danny, obviously you've come over with the horse. You've been here throughout the preparation here in Hong Kong, and have preparations gone as smoothly as you'd all hoped?
Couldn't be happier with him, Nick. Like the horse, he's got a great temperament, which goes a long way, but he travelled over really well, lost minimal weight, put it back on more or less straight away. He was very fit before he came, so we haven't had to do much with him, just let him can around, and he's really adapted to the conditions really well. Settled in terrific, ate all his food, every grain, every feed, drank well, looks well, and yeah, moving good. Really, touch wood, we're still a couple of days out, but as you said, the week couldn't have gone any better so far.
Danny, I've been fortunate enough to see him firsthand in Singapore, and obviously his form there is very good. This, granted, is another level, but I mean, he certainly deserves his place. I mean, what he's done in Singapore has been extraordinary. He's a Group 1 1200 metre winner and a winner of a derby as well.
Yeah, that's correct, Nick. Like, he's rewrote the record books over there, and first horse to win a derby and then come back and win a Lion City. He's 8 from 8 at the 1200, or maybe 9 from 9 actually, I think it is now. So yeah, he's only a little fella, but he's got a big heart, plenty of fight, and he knows how to win, and it's great attributes.
Danny, look, for those that don't know, your story is a very interesting one. You gave up the race riding for a few years, and then obviously come back and you found a horse like him. You're also due to disembark from Singapore and head back to Australia. So this is a great sort of fanfare and farewell to Asian racing, if you will.
Yeah, certainly, Nick. Like, I retired in 2017 and went and worked with Daniel as his assistant trainer and sort of looking at different avenues of the industry. Then when COVID hit, turned the industry upside down. There was a lack of jockeys in Singapore, so I decided to come back and to script how the next 2 years went, finding a horse like Lim's Lightning firstly and then Lim's Kosciuszko. It's just been remarkable, and yeah, returning home to Australia at the end of this year, all family, personal reasons, like just to get home, be closer back to my mum and dad and my family, but we'll still continue to ride for a bit, and to think that my Asian career is going to be my last ride, probably maybe in Asia, would be the Hong Kong Sprint. Like, if you said that to me 2 years ago when I wasn't even riding, like, you could never believe it.
Danny Beasley, the rider of the Singapore visitor Lim's Kosciuszko. So that's the Singapore horse that we've looked at. Now we need to go back to the Jockey Club Sprint last time. We'll just let them jump out of the gates and then show you who lands where. So we're underway. We've got the horse that finishes in third placing, Duke White, who's absolutely flying, but this is another step up for him. Sight Success, he's buried on the outside of Wellington there. We've got Cordyceps 6, he's in the green jacket. Wellington, he's obviously away well, but had excuses coming out of this race. Stronger misses the start down on the inside. Skyfield away better, but not quite as sharp as he was in the race prior, and Super Wealthy probably looking for 1,000 metres, Tom, but this is his last effort over 1,200.
Yeah, certainly. We can see how fast Wellington jumped away there from the machine. You can see Stronger was slow out. Duke White goes back. Courier Wonders back there as well with Skyfield. He jumped really well, Paul did, Wellington. He might have got a little bit fired up sort of coming down the side as the horses came across him there, but Lucky Swainish right behind them there midfield.
Yeah, he got the perfect run, didn't he, Lucky Swainish? And look, he should get a similar run as well coming up from barrier number 3, so he's definitely going to get his opportunity. Wellington had lameness issues after this race, so there was clear excuses for him, but they're the two main ones I take out of.
I think it definitely showed this time round that you don't necessarily have to be right up at the pointy end here with Lucky Swainish. Zach saw all that speed going forward. He decided not to get involved in that. Yes, he did have the pull in the weights this time round on Wellington. Wellington's going to fare better off at the weights this time round, but for him to reel him in and produce a really good turn of foot over the final stages again, and he's a horse, Paul, that's still improving. Yeah,
he definitely is. He's sort of the young horse coming through for sure. So look, it was a very strong win from him here. I mean, Wellington did win the start before as well. And if he's right, we know Wellington's a very good sprinter.
I really would have entertained the horse out wide at Cordyceps 6 for this race, but it is the barrier draw that does worry me.
Yeah, me too. I think he'll try and find some cover wide, but look, the barrier draw definitely put me off there.
It's a comprehensive look at the Jockey Club Sprint last time. Now we're going to head to Japan for the next replay. This is the Sprinter Stakes. We've got Gendarme, who's in a really good spot next to the inside. Naran Huleg is well back in the field, and Mikhail Yell, Paul, he's covering ground out there 3 wide. Gendarme's come up a big price. Be very shocked if he starts at that 70 and 16 early.
It was a really good run from him. He sort of slingshot off this bend here, and he just, I really like the last 50 metres this race. He ran away. Naran Huleg is the fast finisher in the blue with the white face. Look at him coming through late. Mickey Yell, she's drawn wide, and I just think she's going to get a tough run in this race.
Yeah, that does worry me, the wide draw. And I don't think she's the easiest of rides either. She gets a bit fierce in her runs. James McDonald, I think, is going to have his work cut out for her. I think they were fairly confident coming into the race, but it's the draw now that just might have set things back a peg or two.
Have a look at Naren Hulig here, Tom. This is the Takamatsunami Kinnan over the 1,200 metres. And Group 1 and a winner of this race is Naren Hulig, and that is him further back in the field on the inside.
I do wonder how far back he's going to get in the run, because he's a horse that does get a long way back. You saw that last time out in the Sprinter Stakes from Barrier 6. He's run up over 1,600 metres in the Udis Kinnan. He only had a few behind him last time out, but it is probably his running style here that worries me a little bit, with a 420-odd metre straight. Yeah,
I tend to agree as well. Look, he is going to get back. He'll be running on strongly, and if he gets all the luck, he can win. But from his running style, it's, you know, he needs luck, I should say.
He certainly saved a lot of ground in that replay. More on Mikhail Yell now, Paul, and that is Mikhail Yell out there in the blue cap. This is Group 2 level in the Senkai Show Centaur Stakes.
She's got ability, there's no question. She's a very fast sprinter. Her work's been good since she's been here. She's settled in really nicely. It's just what sort of run she's going to get from that draw. I mean, there's a lot of pace underneath her. If she gets away strongly and can tuck in, then, you know, she's a definite chance. But again, it's the draw for me.
Did have excuses last start, was sort of wide, not too far off the pace, and then got slightly skittled on the home turn on her day. And from a better draw, I would entertain her as well.
Okay, and finally, we go back 12 months ago to the sprint. As you can see, there's not many here because there was that very nasty incident coming up towards the home turn. But we have Skyfield in the yellow colours. He went on to win the race. We've also got Resistencia. She's back again. Good draw for her down in Barry number 1. Stronger ran 5th, and Wellington, he was inconvenienced when that fall happened on the corner too, Paul. So what about this year's sprint when it comes to these four? Wellington, obviously the pick of them.
Yeah, definitely. I think Wellington's a big chance in this. He looked good before he had that excuse last time. Skyfield hasn't won since this race as well. This is his last win. So, yeah, Wellington clearly for me. Resistencia, I think, is a chance as well from an inside draw.
Yeah, I did like her work during the week, Resistencia. I guess next to this race there'll always be an asterisk. I just wonder if it's a little bit stronger for Resistencia this time, but on her track work she seems to have settled in well. And she's put on a bit of weight too. She's up 35 pounds at her body weight from last year.
She's been working with that pink blanket over her hindquarters as well all week, has Resistencia. Is it a race for Hong Kong, this one, Paul?
I think it is, actually. I think there's the two Hong Kong horses look really strong here in Wellington and Lucky Sweynesse. I've gone that way. Wellington, multiple Group 1 winner, had excuses last time. Lucky Sweynesse is the up-and-comer. It's going to be a very good race. So 1 to beat 4, John Dunn showed that really good turn of foot last time. Is getting on a little bit. It's 7-year-old now for him. And Resistencia from an inside draw. So 2 Hong Kong, 2 Japan. 1, 4, 3 and 14.
Yeah, save 4 numbers, but look, I'm quite keen on this time round to Lucky Sweynesse. It's the first time he's really come up with a decent draw recently. This guy won well last time out. Meets Wellington on favourable terms for him this time round, but 4 to beat 1. Richard Gibson, I think, is pretty happy with where Wellington is at the moment. Resistencia and Jean Darme off the back of that Sprinter Stakes win. Wasn't fancy that day, but was a very good win from him. 4-1, 14 and 3.
Hong Kong for the sprint. Another break here on Racing to Win. The mile is next. We'll find out if the boys think anyone can beat the champ, Golden 60. Welcome back to Racing to Win. A reminder about a special HKIR preview show this week as well. You'll find on the website. Click on hkjc.com, audio and video. Graham Cunningham and also Steve Moore and special guests to have a look at the 4 feature races, which we're also doing here on Racing to Win, but more from a analysis aspect. The Longines Hong Kong Mile. Might be a field of 9 now, but it's all about one horse. Golden 60 at the top of the book. Vincent Ho for Francis Lloyd. California Spangle will tangle with him again. Unfortunately, Salios has been withdrawn this morning. Schnellmeister across from Japan for Christophe Lemaire. Waikuku actually beat Golden 60 in a race last season. Beauty Joy comes back in trip from the 2000 to the 1600. Annabelle Neesham has her first World Traveller in Laws of Indices. He lines up for James McDonald. More than this, excellent proposal represent Hong Kong, and Denon Scorpion, Japanese representative with William Buick in the saddle. It might be a field of 9, Tom, with horses from Australia and Japan in the race as well, but it appears, from what everyone's talking about, it's a race in two as far as the Hong Kong horses go.
Golden 60 in California Spangle. The California Spangle will no doubt jump and run, and hopefully he can relax from barrier 2. And California Spangle out of barrier number 4, Paul, they won't want to get snookered down on the rail, I don't think, with him, and take that sort of element out of play. But is there anyone to challenge the speed on California Spangle?
Well, there's not, is there? I mean, Waikuku's drawn wide. I think he'll come across, and he probably can slot in behind. Beauty Joy, he's not going to take on a stablemate. Then in Scorpion for Japan. The law of indices and Golden 60, they might be the other way around. It just depends what Vincent wants to do, I think, with Golden 60. He might be one place further forward than that. More than this gets back. Schnellmeister's got no early speed or has excellent proposals.
Schnellmeister has gone forward quite a few runs ago, but whether they roll the dice this time round, I don't know.
He's better when he's back.
Right, so that's how the boys see the speed map for the mile. Past winners, Tom. It's a familiar name, 2021, 2022, and he's shooting for 3 in a row.
He is looking to emulate the great Good Barbar from 2.7, 2.8 and 2.9, but admire Mars there for Christophe Soumillon going back to 2009, and then Beauty Generation a couple of years before that, Zach Purton and Derek Long.
Well, one man who has 2 chances of rolling the Champ Golden 60 is the trainer of both California Spangle and Beauty Joy. It is, of course, Tony Cruz.
Tony, a couple of runners in the mile this year for you, and you look to have perhaps the biggest local danger to Golden 60 in the shape of California Spangle. He's drawn gate number 2. Are you happy with the draw that you've got?
I'm very happy. Yes, I'm very pleased with the draw. And so was my other horse as well, Beauty Joy. He's in gate 5, but gate 2 is perfect for him, you know.
We know he likes to roll forward. I guess he's in a very good spot there to get to the front. Is that the plan again with him?
Definitely. We're going to ride the race like we've been riding for him, always going straight to the front and lead the race, and this is the way we're going to race him again.
I read an article this week that Zach Purton said, you know, you've tried every trick in the book to try and beat Golden 60. How many more tricks are there, Tony?
Well, we still always have something up our sleeves, you know. I'm sure we'll put on a big show, a big fight anyway. We won't. It won't be that easy. I know it's not an easy race, but we got Zach on. We're still in our stable, and every one of us still have confidence. I think that's where the teamwork kicks in. I think once we have confidence, there's always a way to win.
How has the horse been since his last run, Tony? Have you felt him? Have you felt him progress going forward towards this big day?
Yes, he's always improving, and this season he's improved a lot. His attitude, his behaviour, is always improving. He's one of the calmest horses you'll find, you know.
Yeah, he's always been a very nice horse. Of your other runner, Beauty Joy, you've got Hugh Bowman on board him. I mean, he's created a little bit of a spectacle, this horse, because he has got 1 or 2 little idiosyncrasies. He comes into the mile, big ask. How happy have you been with his preparation leading up to the big day?
Well, gate 5 would be perfect. He's not an easy horse to ride. I got Hugh Bowman on him. I think there's always a way. He'll be very close to the race. I don't dare say he'll win the race, but I'm sure he'll put on a big show this time.
And what's been Hugh's sort of opinion of the horse, Tony, since he's been preparing him for this race?
Well, he was never an easy horse to train. You know, he's got some attitudes in the morning, and he's got a way about throwing his head, as we all can see. He's very sensitive in his mouth as well. So, but you know, the pace has got to be on. Once the pace is on, he'll be relaxed much better behind. And I think and with Hugh Bowman on him, with his good hands, I think he'll put on a big show.
What can you do with a horse like him in track work, Tony? Obviously, you mentioned he's got that sort of soft mouth, and he's obviously got a few little quirks. Is there anything you've done or you can do perhaps just in track work to try and get him to settle that a little bit better?
Yeah, you know, you can see we all have the running martingale on, and that will help stop him from throwing his head so much. The minute you touch his mouth, he throws his head. We tried all kinds of things, but you know, right now it seems to be all under control. His attitude is much better than ever before too. So, but he's a very calm horse. But if the pace slows down, he'll throw his head up. You know, he's very sensitive. But we know exactly what to do with him now.
That is Beauty Joy and California Spangle, the 2 horses for Tony Cruz. Now let's go back to the replay of the Jockey Club Mile last time. We'll just point out those that aren't the big two. That is Waikuku next to the inside. We've also got More Than This inside of Golden 60 and excellent proposals back at the tail end. Now, California Spangle in front. He runs home in 21.6. However, Tom, Golden 60, he can better than that. 21.32.
You've done well there. California Spangle, he did it right off the front here, and there wasn't any more Zach Purton could do. The one question maybe, did he go too slow in front here on California Spangle? And the quote of the week has been they've been planning to ways to beat Golden 60. That's all very good planning, Paul, but they've got to put the planning to theory and practice.
Yeah, now there's only 9 runners. He should get a clear run, Golden 60. But they tried their best here, didn't they? But yeah, it was too good, Golden 60. So yeah, I'm sure they'll come up with some sort of plan, but it's hard to beat him, I think.
Just that devastating turn of foot that he produces every start there, Golden 60. More Than This, excellent proposal. I'm happy to leave out both of those two runners. I sort of question where More Than This is at. He's been close to Golden 60 in the past, but he hasn't got within Kui recently.
No, he hasn't. He was those two were well clear, weren't they? Waikuku in behind, but when they're the two you take out of the race, there's no doubt.
And there's the time breakdown, Tom.
Yeah, 21.32 there. You can see the last 600 for both those horses, 32.2 Golden, or 32.3 Golden 60, 32.8 California Spangle, and then the 800 44.2. Quite a difference there, 44.2 playing 44.8 there for California Spangle.
The one to watch, Paul, Golden 60.
Yep, you can see there. Look at his record. Unbelievable, isn't it? 25 starts with those 22 wins. And look, he's going to be tough to beat. Let's be honest. There's nothing. Well, they tried everything with it. If he was going to get beaten, it would have been last week, I think. Last time, because they went slow, and he still managed to win.
They go slow, he can run over the top, and they go fast, he run over.
He'll
top
have to perform poorly for him not to win, I think.
So his biggest danger is himself.
I think so.
Yep. All right, so that's Golden 60 California Spangle. Some Japanese form for you now from the Mile Championship. We've got Schnellmeister, and that's him in those red, black and yellow colours just there. And Denon Scorpion also in the race, Tom. He just fades out a little bit late. Salios also comes out of this race, but unfortunately he's not running. Yep,
so Schnellmeister here, a son of Kingman. He's just a 4-year-old, but he's a Group 1 winner in his own right of the NHK Mile. He was sort of midfield and did cover some ground last time out, and then was held up early in the straight and box on. There was quite a bit of interference here as well, sort of over the last 200 metres there, with a few runners getting chopped out. Down on Scorpion, Paul, what do we do with him?
Yeah, look, he didn't perform too much in this race, did he? Schnellmeister, I thought of the two of them, went really well, running against Group 1 horses for his last 5 starts. He hasn't won for 5 starts, but has been placed in Group 1s.
Here is Scorpion again, Paul. That's him on the outside. Now, this is the Group 2 Fuji Stakes where he runs 3rd. Importantly, though, this was left-handed.
Yeah, it was. But look, he's obviously got plenty of ability, Denon Scorpion. One thing in his favour is he's a young horse. He's a 3-year-old colt, isn't he? He's by Lord Kanaloa. William Buick will be aboard. Now, this was a lot better. He's had those 2 runs since, but he's a class horse as well, so you definitely have to include him.
And look, he's been drawing some horrible gates as well, 15, 14, 18. He was caught wide 2 back. He loomed up and stayed on pretty well. And then last start again, he was caught wide, couldn't get in, and had an excuse here. I thought he was quite one-paced.
Annabelle Neesham in town with Laws of Indices. Annabelle's first trip to Hong Kong and first traveller as well. This is the Toorak handicap, Tom. Even though he doesn't win, Caulfield's not a track where it's easy to make up as much ground as what he has.
Especially with how wide he's had to fan around that home turn there at Caulfield. Last run was probably one of his better runs as well in Australia in the 5 Diamonds. That was on a good track, and he had a clear excuse there because he was 3 wide, no cover. But I just wonder if he's got the class factor here, Paul.
Yeah, I agree totally. And look, he has performed really well on yielding tracks as well. So I wonder if to help him, he needs to sting out of the ground.
He's not going to get that on Sunday.
No, he don't. I wouldn't have thought so, the way the weather is.
It's an easy pick here, though.
Yeah, look, 1 to beat 2 for me. Golden 60 to beat California Spangle. I can see there's the clear 1-2, and then the 2 Japanese horses, Denon Scorpion and Schnellmeister. So 1, 2, 10 and 4.
Yeah, clear pick, Golden 60, picks himself. As Mark said before, the only thing that's going to beat him is himself here at Golden 60 if something goes wrong. California Spangle, Schnellmeister and Denon Scorpion. He's at a big win price at the moment, over 20 to 1. So 1, 2, 4 and 10, but all Golden 60.
And the champ, he jumps at 4 o'clock Hong Kong time in the Mile. Welcome back to Racing to Win as we preview Longines HKIR Day at Sha Tin on Sunday, the Turf World Championships, and one race to look at here on the show. It is the 2,000 metre Hong Kong Cup. We've got Panther at the top of the book. He will go forward. We've got Romantic Warrior second up. He was so good over 2,000 metres when resuming. Fellow Japanese runner Jack Daw and Order of Australia down from Ireland for Aidan O'Brien. Russian Emperor Denon the Kid round out the first page. We've got Torbjorn Diamond and Ka Ying Star. Money Catcher, the winner of the Sasa Ladies Purse, but he's going to have to carry 126 pounds. Savvy 9 and the two Japanese down the bottom of the book being Geoglyph and Le Papale round out the runners in race number 8. Speed here, Tom. It's down as good. The question is, how fast will Panther go?
Yeah, well, sometimes he's not actually the quickest out of the gates. It takes him a little while to get there, and so hopefully that doesn't pose too many issues for him from barrier number 8. And I guess it's a matter of how far he wants to get out in front and who's going to be following up. Is it going to be Jack Daw with Le Papale? Where's Money Catcher going to sit? The race record here, Paul, course record 158.81. There's possibly a chance they could knock that off.
Yeah, definitely. I think Jack Daw's going to... They won't let Panther go crazy like I think they did last time.
Hope he does.
Yeah,
It's a great race. Equinox run him down. Japan have a terrific record over the last 3 years, Tom.
They do. They've had a stranglehold on this race in recent years, and even going back to before Glorious Forever in Time Warp. You've got names like Asian Hikari, Morris there as well. And look, Love's Only You, she was superb last season.
Well, Panther has been quite a talk throughout the week. He's trained by the man with the best hats in the business, Japanese trainer Yoshito Yahagi.
Yahagi-san, Panther is your runner in the Hong Kong Cup this year. A very exciting horse to watch. I imagine you're very excited to run him here.
Yes, because I couldn't come here last year, and I'm very happy I'm coming back here in this year.
How has the horse settled into Hong Kong? Have you and the team been happy with the way he's progressing in track work?
Yeah, so I'm satisfied about this morning's gallop, and he loves journey, he loves abroad, so it's no problem.
You won this race last year with Love's Only You. Are you able to compare both horses? Are they similar in any respect?
Love's Only is better at the moment, but he will improve.
On that run last time from Panther, obviously he established a big lead on the field and was only just caught. Are they very much the same tactics here in Hong Kong?
Yes, it's one thing to go front, but I depend on Yutaka Yoshida, so it's a long lead or small lead, or I don't know.
He is drawn in barrier number 8. It's a relatively short run to that first turn. Does that pose any problems in your mind?
No. I don't care about barrier draw, so because he will do one thing. So
we saw a nice piece of work from the horse yesterday. He got a really good hit out on the turf track. Was that as pleasing a gallop as you could hope for?
Yes. I'm very satisfied.
Nick Child at the barrier draw on Thursday with the interview. Tom, well, your shadow's not going to worry one bit about this graphic and what he just said.
No, he does not care one iota, and he has drawn barrier number 8 here, but it has been certainly successful in the past in terms of winning and placing. He ran 157. We know we can probably take some of those times out of Japan with a grain of salt, Paul, but it was still a very, very strong outing.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see there was an even spread amongst those barrier draws, wasn't there?
There was. Here is Romantic Warrior. This is the Jockey Club Cup, Paul. He was first up over 2,000 metres. What about second up over 2,000 metres off the back of what could be a really hot pace?
Yeah, well, that's the question, isn't it? But look, it was an interesting sort of preparation to start him off in this race, and he just won so well. He's definitely the best of the locals. I can't see any other of the horses in this race overturning the form on him. Money Catcher's, although he's drawn 4, with that pace underneath him, he might have to work early.
Yeah, he's probably going to have to with all that pace there, but he's such a fantastic horse, Romantic Warrior. He's puts himself into the race, he knows where he needs to be, he seems to be a horse that is pretty economical in the run as well, and then knows where the winning post is. Terrific first preparation from him to do what he did, and a great training performance by Danny Shum to get him up last time out. But will it have taken the edge off him first up over 2,000 metres? I guess we'll find out.
We will indeed. So here's the first replay we look at. Here's Denon the Kid, Tom. Now this is him running second in the mile championship.
Yeah, down on the Kid, he jumped well and just raced about 4 or so lengths off the leaders last time out. He got squeezed up here at the 200 metres. We can see them coming down here in the mile championship, all sorts of squeezing and jostling there, but he still ran a big race. Nothing was going to beat Sephiros the way he won.
No, and this was over a shorter distance. Now, he's going to step up to 2,000 metres, which he did win a Group 1 as a 2-year-old in Japan. So the distance is really going to suit him, and he's been a very consistent horse, Denon the Kid.
The Group 1 Satsuki show here. Paul, Geoglyph is very wide turning for home. They've gone 159.7 for the 2,000 metres, and he's too good for them.
Yeah, he won really nicely here. He's had 2 sort of below par runs since, but they were both left-handed. He comes back right-handed now. Look, he finished off the race nicely enough. He's still only a 3-year-old, this horse, so look, he definitely goes in for me as well. And this is a really strong form race.
It was a really exciting win from him there too, Geoglyph. 2,000 guineas here. He swept around the outside of it and put them to bed pretty quickly.
He did indeed. He's come up really big odds too, as a number have in the market. Romantic Warrior is very short. Ballydoyle's in town. Aidan O'Brien trains the team, and he was good enough to grant some time to our very own Nick Child earlier in the week.
Just on the latter mention there, Aidan, obviously Order of Australia, he's your other runner in the Cup. Was there ever an option to perhaps sort of stick to the mile with him, or was it always the thinking to go to the Cup?
Yeah, obviously he is a Breeders' Cup winner over a mile, and he's some very good form over 7 as well. But we always felt a 1.25 miles was going to suit him well, and we were just waiting and biding our time before we did it. And we think now is a good time. He ran very well in America. Maybe the mile wasn't strong enough run for him. He's by Australia, so a 1.25 miles should suit him well. He's in very good form since then, and we're very happy with his work, and really we're excited about stepping him up to a 1.25 miles.
And just an interesting angle on that race, Aidan, is the fact that he takes on a former inmate of yours in the shape of Russian Emperor, who has become a champion stayer here in Hong Kong. So certainly a bit of intrigue there in the Cup as far as those two meeting again.
Yes, absolutely. We're looking forward to it. Obviously, Russian Emperor has done very well in Hong Kong, and he was an Royal Ascot winner for us, so he's a very good horse. But we're looking forward to both of them meeting again, really.
And Aidan, just finally, I imagine it'd be extremely special, of course, to win another race at this very, very prestigious meeting. And well, you certainly have a good hand in the Vase, if not perhaps the Cup as well. I mean, it'd be phenomenal and a great achievement, and great for everybody to win another race here, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, because it's so competitive, you never expect it, but you always hope. Obviously, we would be over the moon if we did have a winner, but it's tough and competitive, and it's world-class racing at its best. And when it's like that, you're always hoping, but things have to fall for you. But it's very, very good competitive racing.
Aidan O'Brien there on the 3 from Ireland. All right, Paul, we need some selections, please.
Japan's got a really good record in this race. I think Denon the Kid can keep that going, and he might be at decent odds as well. Jack Dore is another Japanese horse. Romantic Warrior, the best here in Hong Kong, and Geoglyph as well, another Japanese. 6, 3, 2 and 11.
Yeah, big fan of Romantic Warrior. Is going to be a real stiff test for him come the 2,000 metres on Sunday afternoon. But look, I think he's up to it. Jack Dore, one of the big dangers. Panther Lasser off the front, and down on the Kid coming into this off the back of a good performance last time out. So 2, 3, 1 and 6.
That has a look at the 4 races here on the program on Sunday. What about a few of the others outside of them, Paul?
Looks like a favourite stay. The race I'm really looking forward to is race 3, Dragon's Luck versus Victor the winner. I think that's a Quinella. Golden Express as well was really impressive, I thought, in debut. Running second to Victor the winner. I think he can go well in race 9.
Full analysis on the website hkjc.com under audio and video. Best bet.
Yep, looking to a horse called Stone Age in race number 4. Stone Age, he's in the Vase, I think he can win. And Denon the Kid, the Japanese, I think he'll be the forgotten Japanese horse, and he can win at good odds. We'll do the play in the Victor the winner, Lord Thunder, Dragon's Luck, QQP in race 3.
Go the sprint with Lucky Swainess, race 5, number 4, Manfred Mann and Zach Purden. Value in the last race with the Irishman, didn't get a lot of luck last time out. Blake Shin rides for Francis Loy, and we'll go the Quinella there with Wellington and Lucky Swainess in the Group 1 sprint.
We'll go early. Perfect Peaches drawn a gate, been racing well from wider draws. Lola Hewitson for Tony Cruz, and from barrier number 1 looks hard to beat. We'll stick with Lyle in race number 9. Temra Blitz is up against some decent runners in that race, including Voyage Bubble. He's in the play with Golden Express and Temra Blitz 6:10.14. That has been Racing to Win, Tom. What a day it's going to be on Sunday.
Yeah, make sure if you're in Hong Kong you get out to Sha Tin. We're expecting over 30,000 out there tomorrow. 4 Group 1 races, Turf World Championships. What more could you ask for?
Exactly. I've got Hong Kong winning 2, Ireland 1, Japan 1.
Oh, you like the United Nations, aren't you? He's a lover, not a fighter. That has been Racing to Win. A reminder, it's an early start at Sha Tin on Sunday. The first race is at 12:25 on behalf of the Racing to Win team. Enjoy the Turf World Championships.